So we just clocked out. It's a little bit after 6. It's about 6:30. Just clocked out. You know, we've always been rewarded for being a high achiever. As men, you have to put the grind first. You have to put success first. You know, you have to put things in place that motivates you to do better, get better. You know, like I always talk about family. I do have a wife and children, but let's say you don't have a family. Like, you should want your mother to live in a better house. You should retire your mom. I always talk about 60 and 70-year-olds working harder than some 20 and 30-year-olds. You know, I've spoken to women like doing Instacart, and they're 70 years old, 80 years old, and they're speaking about how their children still don't have it together. But they also follow up with, they enable their children. Now, mommy and daddy is gonna always treat you like their child. It's up to you, it's up to us to hold ourselves accountable. Now, here this poor lady, her name was Gwen. Here's Gwen, 80 years old, probably going on 90. She's struggling. She's paying me to help her take out her trash. Whenever I drop the groceries off, she pays me extra to help take out the trash because she can't walk to the dumpster. Her son is addicted to cocaine, and her daughter is, I believe she said her daughter has kids, and the fathers are not around. So she said, you know, they don't know how to make good decisions, but she blames herself for thinking that she can do things for them forever. And that's one thing I want to talk about, going back to putting in the work. Everything is about work. Even if you're a father, a parent, you know, a sibling, a auntie, an uncle, a man, a woman, grandfather, it doesn't matter. Like, you're gonna have to put the work in. You're gonna have to put the work in to teach your child how to be independent. You're gonna have to put the work in to make sure you're independent before you have children. You're gonna have to make sure you put the work in to understand what it means to look after the people that looked up for you as you was growing up. You know, you can always feel like a kid, but by no means, no one should treat you as a child. You have to hold yourself accountable. You have to put the work in. Who's gonna bury your mother and father? You or somebody else? You should have the money to bury your parents. You don't know when your parents are gonna die. You're not God. You can believe in God all you want. I always say, we can walk with our beliefs, but our beliefs can't do the work for us. You believe in a higher power. A lot of people do. That's not gonna bury your mother and your father. You're gonna have resources, money. There's nowhere around it. You're gonna have to make sure your children understand what it means to be independent. Right now, everybody's going through a lot, money-wise, financial, hell, mental, spiritual, physically. If we would have started early, where would we be right now? Sacrifice. Sacrifice today for a better tomorrow. I told you guys, my grandmother told me she wished she would have invested when somebody else who was well off with money told her to, but she just ignored it because the belief, generational beliefs, oh, it's a scam, it's not worth it. And now here we are, inflation. Everything around us is expensive. And everybody wished they would have done something in the past. People in my comment section every day, today, $100 and something thousand would have been $20,000 back in 18 something, 19 something. It's like, yeah. One thing I keep telling you guys, and I learned this from experience because I'm involved with it. When inflation is going up, the market is going up. Those prices are rising because everything must keep up but wages. But children should work. Adults should own businesses. Everybody can own something. We got to stop saying everybody can't. And for the people that's going to say everybody can, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people that's like me. We're not everybody. I'm not going to bite my tongue and hide because I don't want to be average. I don't care how people feel about that. You should want better for yourself. You should want to work. You should always want more. That means you do everything better. To have more is to be better. You can't just wake up and think making more money means you're greedy. You have to do more. A lot of people sit back and play it safe, and I'm gonna say this and I want everybody to listen to me, but don't take this the wrong way. Growing up, I thought if you was poor, you would automatically be accepted into the gates of heaven. I thought that if you was rich, you was going to hell. And I learned, because I did a lot of research with religion and God, and I believe people are like deities, or they believe in deism. Basically, they believe in God, but they don't believe in religion because religion was man-made. A lot of religions was made during the time of slavery. So I looked into it, how the missionaries was cast around the world to preach the word, but at the same time, as they was telling people to repent and give their life over to God, they was acquiring massive amounts of land, resources, money, gold, silver, everything. They took everything. Wealth was built while people who were worshiping God was put at the bottom of the spectrum. Poor people. You know, interest makes rich richer and keeps the poor poor. Everything around us is like interest now because humans do this. I'm not blaming religion, I'm not blaming God, I'm blaming people, right? But just as I started to separate myself from this mentality, I started to realize it's generational. Like, we want to play poor or act poor and speak of poor as a way of who we are, which what you say and believe is not who you are, it's what you do. Repeatedly, habits. We want to say that I'm poor, and I think it's associated with I'm automatically God's favorite, but I don't believe that, because I don't believe someone being rich is technically the devil's favorite. You believe in God, you believe in the devil, okay, cool. If you don't, that's fine. I had to get away from that, because when I looked at this belief and a lot of people around me who believed in that, it always led me back to work. What worked best? I don't want to be in a place of high crime. I don't want to be in a place of poverty. The poorest countries in the world are high in crime, high in poverty, and they're also the most religious. I believe religions like Judaism, they speak on wealth being okay because it's not just the wealth, it's what you do with it. While some religions don't even want you to chase wealth at all, but religious leaders live luxurious lives. Somewhere in there, I'm like this. I put God first. I believe in the Almighty. I don't believe people created the world, created the earth, and now we're here destroying it ourselves. I believe it's a higher power, but I believe keep a pure heart, as pure as you can, because you're not perfect. Don't try to be. Try to keep as pure of a heart as you can. And I believe you should try to go for whatever you think is better for you. If you don't mind being poor, that's cool. But don't complain. Don't be a hypocrite. Poor, great. When you're struggling and you're poor, it's even better because you want to be poor. Wealthy, great. Whenever it comes with pros and cons or the prices that come with being wealthy, great. Don't complain because you wanted to be wealthy. This is my mindset. You make a choice. Don't make a choice and then play victim. A lot of people playing victim when they're the perpetrators of their own lives. It's like, no. Hold yourself accountable, especially as men. You don't have time to sit around and play victim when you're the one who's victimizing yourself. You're the victor and the victim of your own life, right? You're the one who's telling yourself you can't do something. You're the one who's putting yourself in that situation. It goes back to Gwen. Gwen realized she babied and enabled her children. Now her children can't do anything for themselves. My father said if he died today and I don't know how to take care of myself, he's failed as a father, which ultimately sets me up for failure. Now I can get out of that slump, but I would never forget my father telling me that. He told me that a few times because he wanted it to stick. As men, you have to be independent. Take care of your mother. Take care of your father. Take care of them. Your mother should not be working at 60, 70 years old. No woman should be out here slaving, breaking her backs. If you don't use it, you lose it. Our mothers should be walking around just exercising. Maybe cleaning up the home that we gave to her or that we share with her. And maybe she cooks food for us and maybe some for the grandkids. Family, right? We always talk about family. Men need to have families. Get your ass up and do something to have a wife and children. If you don't think women are suitable to be married, you're looking in the wrong place. I'm not saying all women are good and bad, but like men and women, they're good and bad. You need to go where the good batches are, not where the bad batches are. But everybody likes drama. People love drama. You don't like money, but you love drama. You don't want to talk about money, but you want to talk about sexuality and sex and people changing their sex and people committing crimes and who ugly and who fat, who's tall, who's short. That's what we want to talk about. We're distracted by everything that don't matter, but we want to talk about this money. Why do I work 16 hours? I'm still on the clock. I'm going to work all day. You guys are going to see. The more money I make, the more I can invest. The more money can be made for me through money. I look at money like my business is to make money and invest. Use my money like employees. My employees are going to work for me while I go and I work to make more money and to hire more employees. Dollars. The market will always go up. Inflation, if $175,000 today was $30,000 or $35,000 in 18 something, then what do you think $100,000 today will be in 3050? Now, I'm not saying we're going to be here to see that, but life goes on. Money goes on. Look at the stock market. Since the beginning of time, the market has always been in the uptrend. I told you guys, we're going to keep talking about that. I'm going to make a separate video on that. But when everybody's talking, because people love to talk, and we say the stock market has crashed, it's a fire sale. You ever played Call of Duty Zombies? Okay, we hit that mystery box. It's $10 instead of $950. It's the same thing. Whenever the market drops, it's an opportunity for you to buy. Every time the market is running, the prices is going up in value. Everything in our society is going up in value. Interest rates, a gallon of milk, a loaf of bread, gas, oil, your light bill. It's gonna happen. You need to make decisions and put the work in now, so that as life goes on and the dollar value drops but inflation goes on, women and men do what they do, life goes on, children go from babies to adults and they die of old age and life continues to go on, you are not suffering from your actions in the past. You sacrifice in the past so you can live a better life in the future. I tell you guys, we don't sell our souls for money, we buy into the life of our future. Stop playing around. Get away from idiots. Get away from low energy people. Get away from people that just want to be poor or want to be average, but they don't accept what comes with it. If you say you want to be poor, you want to be average, when your consequences come, because it's always consequences, you're never just out here living freely, don't complain because you chose that. Nobody needs to give you sympathy or give you some type of pity. You chose that. It's two sides to every coin. Deal with the side you chose, or you shouldn't have picked the coin up at all. But if you don't pick the coin up, you're not living life. We're going to get back to work, man. I just want to spread that real quick. Like I said, I am a man that believes in God, but I understand where all this stuff comes from. You got to put the work in. Either way it go, whether you believe in God or not, put the work in. Whether you want to have kids or not, put the work in. And if you have children, if you have a family, you definitely better put the work in. I know the sun's in my face, but you guys hear what I'm saying. You got to put the work in. It's all about work. And don't nobody want to work. It's a lot more than just having a 9-to-5. You got to look at what your parents before you didn't do. You got to look at what your grandparents before you did and didn't do, because a lot of people want to say to successful people, whatever that is to you guys, you want to ask people, hey, what did you do? And a lot of people will tell you, it's what I didn't do. I didn't waste money. I didn't waste time. The three biggest things men make of all races and ethnicities is wasted time, wasted money, and wasted potential. And it's all our fault. You got to fix it. We can do it together.